It's live. Yes, we are live back on YouTube. And yeah, last time we played the first session of the prelude sessions for the Werewolf Dark Ages campaign. I'm running here for Rogier here, and I've concluded I've managed to get confirmation on the players that's going to be there once the actual campaign starts. Besides Rogier here, it's going to be Philippe One Gajira and John Poland, formerly
Woohoo!
known as Master of Flowers. And we're going to be playing the main campaign once that time comes, but it's not that time yet. It's still the prelude. So yeah, last time we left off with you basically being asleep. You had just spent the evening for pretty much learning different tool building and crafting things that you can do with these posable thumbs that we humans have. Uh, you know, your teacher there, North Star, showed you how to make fire. And she also showed you how to skin a buck there and that sort of thing. All sorts of usage of tools and such. You, of course, learned through intuition and such. You learned different ways of using tools before through experimentation when you tried to build your little nesting place, better sleeping arrangements and stuff with sticks and twigs and branches and stuff. So you've really gotten this kind of what these thumbs here are good for, that tool making and that sort of thing. So yeah, why don't we start? And of course, since your first change was such a little while ago, you've been bombarded with very visual and emotional dreams lately on all the sleeping sequences that we've had. There have also been dream sequences there. So this time as well, your dream in this case is you laying on the grass. It's from your point of view, this dream, the way you see it, and you're looking at the sky, this very cloudy sky above you. There's these thick clouds, and the way you see everything in this dream of yours, everything is very high contrast. It's like everything has a very strong shadow and very strong outlines to them. Like you see the clouds, and if they're like bright in some sections, they're very bright and very like clear, and the places where they're more dark, they're completely dark. It's like completely black and white. But in this dream, it's for some reason black and red. There's this air, this feeling of anxiety kind of about you when you look into the clouds. You feel this. You feel your own heartbeat like a drum, and it feels like it's. You feel your whole body like pulsating through this heartbeat that you feel, and you feel like this pumping of blood through your limbs as you're laying there, looking at the clouds above, and you hear this thunderous. Rumbling of thunder in the sky, and it's very this restless. There's a lot of strong wind that's wailing and screaming like across your point of view. This very strong like, and at the same time thunder is sounding, and the sky is completely like black and red, and you hear these steps, these footsteps coming closer to you, and you lift your head only to see that your body is in that human form that you've seen North Star in when she made the tools, when she made the fire, when she skinned the animal and all that. She was whether sometimes in her human form, sometimes in her werewolf, different forms where the hands were at present. But once you lift your head and you see human chest, and you see your human legs in front of you, and you see your human hands spread out to the sides. You see in front of you there's this long grass on this field that you're laying on that's very like vertical because of the strong winds, just as, and the grass also is almost completely black except for like the highlight areas where there's light on it, and those are completely like bright red. What you see in front of you, walking towards you, is another person in this same exact human form. And it's also completely black apart from the top of the head and the top of the shoulders where light hits the figure, and that's completely red, like blood red, like different shades of the same kind of dark red there. And the figure is walking towards you, and it has a stick in its hand. It has like a branch, like a stick that's sharpened from one end, like almost like a pencil or something. It looks like this sharp, pointy branch. And it's completely faceless. It's completely like black on most of the body, and it's just walking towards you in this kind of threatening way. And you feel like you feel like your body is really heavy. Like that you're not in full control of your body. It's like you try to move, but it's almost like slow motion, and it feels like this kind of anxious thing where this character is walking towards you in like normal walking speed, and yet you move in slow motion. Your mind works in full normal speed, but your body moves in slow motion. So it's like you're afraid you're not gonna be able to act. And once you get to like sitting up and you get like a little bit off the ground, the human character is already right next to you, right in front of you, and it presses you down with its own body, and it mounts you on top of you, and it takes the branch and is about to strike you down with it. And at that point, your own hand grabs it, and you grab the stick from his hand, and you feel like, just like with the blood pumping through your body, you feel the same kind of sensation as you felt before when you had your first change, where first you just felt your blood, this adrenaline pumping through your body. At this point, you feel again like this burning sensation in this pumping of your blood to take precedent and take control of your senses. It burns, and it makes you kind of flip out. And once you grab the stick, the branch from his hands, you see that your hands are like 3 times the size of his hands, and they have giant claws on them. And you easily rip the branch from his hands and stab him in the neck with that branch repeatedly, with this kind of there is this air of anxiety, and through that you hear your own breathing. And once you start stabbing the neck, it again is like this kind of this kind of animalistic kind of a thing that's taking you over. And once you've stabbed him a few times, you start to hear this background noise there. You hear all this ruckus around you. You hear the thunder sound much more strongly. The rumbling is getting stronger in the sky. The wind is blowing stronger, but you hear all these grunts and yells around you. You hear all these sounds of people basically fighting around you, and you hear these thumps of foots stomping in the ground very near you. And once you've like stabbed the body and pushed him over and gone on top of it and stabbed it the last few times, as you lift your head, you see that all around you, this whole field is now full of humans and wolves tearing at each other. They all are dressed differently. Some of them have very distinct hats. Some of them have very like clubs or tree branches in their hands. Some of them have like staffs in their hands. Some of them have like all sorts of sharp stones in their hands. Some of them are completely in the nude. Some of them are wearing very elaborate clothing. Some of them are wearing like plate armor, which is something that you are not familiar really with, but that's the image that you see and all this. There's like these, you see this great big sea of humans and wolves of different parts of the world, different cultures, and different points in history in this all-out brawl where everybody's killing everybody, and there's no form to it. It's all extremely chaotic. It's just complete black and complete bright blood red, and you hear these grunts, you hear these moans, you hear these yells, and you hear these wolf gnarls, and you see wolves in your close proximity just ripping at dead bodies that have fallen to the ground, and it's just this entire like massacre where you hear manic laughter at areas, and where you hear like these cries of pain and anguish in other areas. And when you go to stand up from the ground in this form where your hands were like 3 times the size of the hands of that human, when you stand up, you see that you tower over all these humans and wolves. You stand so much taller than they that you just see this whole area, this whole scene before your eyes. And as you stand tall with your back straightened up, you see that all of their attention turns to you. Every single person turns their head and looks straight at you, and that's when you wake up. And it's again this kind of such a strong imagery in the dream. It's not like regular dreams where you feel like you're just kind of running or something, but with this, with the dream before about the whole tree and the webbing and stuff, and the dream before about climbing the tree with the giant moon, this as well is something where it feels much deeper than anything. It feels almost like these premonition dreams or something of the sort. Not quite literally, but still, it's like it hits you about 10 times as hard as a very clear dream, and that's where you wake up.
I'll be disoriented and kind of jump around for a bit. In what shape am I at this point?
When you wake up, you're in your natural form, in your wolf form.
All right. Then I'll look around and is it dark? Is it morning yet or?
It's actually morning, and actually you see that the bonfire in front of you is like it's still burning, but it's at the final parts of it burning. It's like you so don't see visible flames, but it is emanating heat and still like crackling a little bit. And you do see North Star in the background. She hasn't noticed you waking up yet, or at least isn't showing signs of noticing you waking up. And she's like, her back is turned towards you at this point.
Unless she's really far away from me, she'll probably notice because I'll probably be like barking and growling and that sort of stuff as I wake up, and making sure that my surroundings are safe. And as I find myself in well, somewhat familiar surroundings, at least as similar as I gone to sleep, I'll calm down, and my hair and on my back starts to slowly sink down again, and I start to look around, sniff around, and we'll look at North Star, and we'll ask her if she's all right.
Once you start to like wake up and like, kind of freak out a little bit, you do notice that she turns her head and looks at you with this kind of a this mild concern, on her face, but still, it seems like she knows what's going on, type of thing. That this is something that's normal. And she looks at you and goes, "Are you all right?"
I nod. in what shape was I when I towered over these other wolves?
You were basically in your battle form, in the form that she turned into when she skinned the animal. So basically, yeah, Krynos form. So a 9 foot tall giant mixture of wolf and human. Wolf, just like the giant wolf you were in your earlier the last day, but basically standing on your hind legs and having arms with long talons and stuff.
Just so I'm clear of the imagery, did I tower above them as in like as a Krynos I'm huge and I'm big, or did I tower above him like this 900 feet tall
Uh, yeah,
TV kind of thing?
yeah, more of the 9 feet tall. Yeah, it was more
Okay,
like everybody was like to basically to your solar plexus area, like you towered over everybody because everybody's head was at this level.
all right.
So
It
you
wasn't
saw
like
like
they're the size of my pinky or something. It was I was just big. Okay, I got you.
yeah.
I'll nod and say, yeah, I'm all right. Just when I sleep, I see these images, and uh, sometimes they're disturbing.
Hmm. Well, that is only natural. That is something I and pretty much every one of us have gone through at least at certain lengths. So it's nothing that you need to worry about. These dreams can't really harm you or anything.
Good.
It's most likely our minds and our bodies developing in this stage to such rapid speeds and to such great extents to these new things that it can be it can be kind of like growing pains, like mental growing pains of sorts, um, where these things are hard for your mind to handle at once. So at least that's the way I've told myself it goes, because I haven't had actual confirmation about that from anyone really.
All right. What happens now?
Well, once we get get moving from here, we'll head on further towards the sept, towards the community of other Guru.
That's us, right?
Ah, yes, yes, that's what we tend to call each other. That's the name that we've been given uh, in our conception. But yes, that's what we call each other. Yes,
Who is
it's
our alpha?
uh, we're not really in a pack at this moment. So at this point, we're not really adhering to anyone specifically in that sense. I've been more of a I've been more on a nomadic uh, bend for the last couple of years. So once we get there, we will of course respect the authority of those who are in the alpha position there. But it's it's nothing we need to worry about yet. Once we get there, then we'll get it sorted out. If if everything is as they were since I last visited the sept, it's I'm not expecting there to be any trouble with us getting along with our fellow guru there.
I'm not worried.
Good. By the way, um, I wanted to show you something here. Um, there's still a little bit of the meat left here, so I spent since I woke up a little while ago, I tried a little something. Uh,
What?
it's well, just look. Uh, the the fire that I started here with you serves many purposes. It serves to give us warmth. It serves to give us light. It serves to uh, turn away insects, and it turns away aggressive animals because they don't really understand what it is that they're seeing. They just always accept it as danger. So it's a very useful tool. But it also serves a little something that's not that necessary for us, but it's a good little lesson. Um, Look, I've put some of that meat on the end of a stick here, and she shows you that she's made this like there's this Y shaped stick and another stick that's like on top of it, like posted up next to the fire, and it has like a chunk of meat, almost like a shish kebab, pierced on the sharp stick there, and you see that the meat is dark brown at this point. It looks like, in your mind, the only kind of meat you've seen to be dark brown is something that's like soiled, like something that's old, and that sort of thing. So it looks kind of strange in that sense, and it emits this strange kind of aroma. It's not a bad smell, but it's definitely like weird. It's something you haven't really smelled before. And she goes to it, and you see that she shapeshifts in front of you. You see, like, stage by stage, she grows into a larger wolf. That wolf turns into a large werewolf form that's like on its hands and knees in the same kind of shape and position that the wolf form was before it, and then that turns into the large caveman-like human form, and then to the full human form in front of you. And that takes like something like 10 seconds to go through that shape shifting of the body parts bulging and bones crackling and snapping and going to place and that sort of thing. And it doesn't look like she's in any kind of like even though it kind of looks odd every time you see like this bulging of muscles and stuff. It doesn't look at all like she's feeling any sort of distress due to it.
Does
Um,
it hurt?
uh, you say that out loud.
I ask her, does it hurt?
She turns her head towards you and she kind of smiles widely and she's like, "No, no, it's all instinctual." That's right. That's right. Even though you turned into the giant wolf form as we ran together through the woods, uh, I haven't seen you try the other forms yet.
No, I suppose not.
Hmm. Well, I guess it's so I don't have the gifts to put it into words really. I don't really know how to explain it the best in terms of words. So just like how we ran together and you managed to shape shift through that running, it's it's perhaps best uh, where when it comes naturally, just pay attention to how it comes about and try to work it out through that. And I'll of course be ready to help you with that. But I can't really explain what it is you do mentally or physically to uh, to actually uh, shapeshift like this. But don't worry about it. It's going to be as natural as anything else.
Why did you make the meat bad?
That's why I wanted to turn into this form here. It's um, it's you've never seen, besides myself, you've never seen uh, creatures who look like this. Uh,
No.
that's because they live far, far away from here. But make no mistake, just like the deer are different from wolves, and just like the birds are different from wolves, these animals who look like this, who wear this hairless skin, also inhabit the wilderness. It's just that they happen to be far away. But since we have all their tools, since we have their hands, and since we have uh, their pattern-seeking minds, uh, we are as much part of them as we are part of being of the wolf family.
They're
Um,
not Gru?
no, they're not. They're completely separate. They're very much like uh, the family of wolves you had when you grew up, but just a different kind of an animal. It's um, it won't. I don't think it'll take long for you to get the chance to see one of their communities because
Like
it's.
what animal?
Hmm?
What are they like? Like squirrels or birds or
Uh,
badgers or
no,
elk?
it's just like with
Ants?
the just like just like how you see me before you in this form. Uh, they are exactly like that. It's just that they tend to use these tools that we've been granted as well. This pattern-seeking mind, this problem-solving mind, this mind that wants to make sense of all of its surroundings and see how things work, combined with these fingers that I've already shown you how you can use them for all sorts of tool crafting and such. Um, because they have no sharp teeth or sharp claws or the running speed or anything of that sort that we as wolves enjoy, they've had to compensate for that with their mind and with their hands. So that's why they, instead of having sharp teeth and claws, they build sharp objects from sticks and from stones and from other materials like that, so that they can have the abilities we have. But it's
Are they
just
prey?
no. That is what I also wanted to talk about with this is that just like we would never eat our brothers and sisters in the wolf family, will never eat humans. If they
Why not?
threaten us, we'll of course defend ourselves, but we will never fall upon their flesh to devour it. It's just as with wolves. It's we don't need to even. It's so innate. We don't need to even reason out why is it that we don't eat wolves. It's it's really a no-brainer and an instinctual thing in that. And I'm sure once you get to see these these humans in their natural habitat and in their communities where they actually use these hands to build caves for each other to live in, and they build uh, caves of the same sort of scope as the anthills you've seen in the woods. Uh,
Oh,
that it'll be interesting for you to see, but they're not close yet. It's we will meet the other Garou far sooner than we will meet humans. So,
I like ants. Ants are always busy.
well, so are the humans. It's I've never seen it, but I've heard some people say that humans go mad if they don't uh, keep themselves busy all the time. I guess wolves also are subject to danger if they don't hunt, but it's also like wouldn't hunt. It's an innate such an innate thing. It's of course you hunt because you have to eat, uh, but in the sense you could always think that well, why not just try what happens if we don't hunt? We starve and we die. And with humans, I've never lived in a human colony or in a human community, anything of the sort, and I haven't really gone into depth with anyone who has. But it's strange to say the least when you get to see it. Um, but how this meat plays into this is that that's also a small little piece of our human side. Um, because humans can't eat raw flesh. Humans can't just take down a buck like we did and eat tear the flesh off its bones and eat it. They have to prepare it, just like how they prepare everything around them. Like they don't just have teeth and claws. They have to prepare themselves teeth and claws from sticks and stones and other things like that. The same way they don't just sleep under trees. They prepare themselves nests and caves and such to live in. The same way even eating is something where they need to prepare it to be edible for them. And through that, um, there comes in the mastery of fire, the mastery of this raw element here, and that's why I've roasted this piece of flesh here. Um, if you want to try it, uh, it's completely fine for us. It's just that this is the only way that humans can handle it. And she takes the stick that has the pieces of meat on it, and she bites her teeth down on the first piece and just pulls it off the stick and is munching on it. And she points the stick at you and says, "You want to try?"
I sniff it for a moment just to make sure that it's not bad, and but it smells pretty good, so I'll probably chow down on it.
Yeah. Uh, like you would expect, it's good but different. It's kind of strange. It's uh, like you would expect something that's completely. It's a familiar thing that's been prepared completely differently, you know. So, so yeah, it's strange to say the least, but it still tastes good.
It's all right, but it's sad that the humans have to go through so much trouble.
Yes, but I guess that's also kind of a price for a mind like this, where you need to hone it at all times. Just like a good hunter needs to go on hunts to stay in hunting shape and to keep his senses sharp. You know, yeah, human mind is also something that needs constant mending and and training and preparing and all this sort of thing. So it's almost like a natural process where they are forced into using their heads uh,
Mm.
in in everyday um, uh, in everyday situations. but it's also like, for example, how you see that they don't really have furs. That's why I wanted to show you this, and it's actually dried out quite nicely. Take a look. And she goes to the buck skin that she skinned last night, and she takes it off from the wooden frame that she hanged it on, and she kind of holds it with her hands there, and go like you see here, because they don't have furs of their own. They need to take the fur off of the prey they kill to do the exact same thing. So they don't have fur, so they need to make fur for themselves. They don't have fangs, so they need to make substitutes for fangs for themselves. Everything revolves around these two tools: their pattern-seeking mind and their posable thumbs and fingers.
So they steal it?
Well, it's no more stealing than the flesh off of the bones of the same animal.
Hmm.
But yeah, this turned out quite nicely. So you see, like she takes it and wraps it around her shoulders and body, and shows you kind of like spinning around with it, and it's like, well, this covers quite a bit of the entire body. Because once winter comes, humans tend to freeze to death quite easily if they don't have if they don't have those caves or furs or any of the things that they've built for themselves.
Humans sound really weak.
Yes, but that's the best part about having the best of both worlds. In our case, we have the survival and natural instincts of our wolf brothers and sisters, but from the human side, we can clearly see that we are a notch above the other regular wolves because of how we're able to make sense of the world really around us. And even though I've
I think I'd
made,
rather be wolf than human.
hmm?
I think I'd rather be wolf than human.
Of course, same here, but it's uh, we're pretty much more than either wolf or human. But it's just one of these things where it'll take time. It'll of course take time to get used to all of this stuff that's changing in us when we're in at your age, basically. But but once we become more familiar with all of this stuff around us and how things work and all this, everything really starts to fall into place, and you won't really have to worry about that. But
I'm not worried.
oh, that's good. But why don't you take this? This'll perhaps be a fine little treasure one day, because this is the first among the first tools and little little craftings that we've done together. Maybe when you get to be as old as me, you'll look back on these confused and troubled times that you've been through uh, uh, through contemplating this piece of craftsmanship.
What is offered to me? What does she actually give? The fur?
Yeah, it's the complete like pelt of the buck. It's basically the whole fur, and the head is almost like this hood that you can put on top of you. It's like the jawline of the buck is kind of there, so that the head part is kind of like a hat, and there's the horns sticking out of it,
What?
and she
What do
kind
you
of
mean? What do you mean? I have it.
well. I'm sure once you get used to all this stuff, it's I think it's a human thing to to because they need to craft these things and because they are dependent on them for their survival, they uh, they become very attached to the items that they require, and so ownership of items, ownership of different things is just as important as uh, owning the part of the animal you eat, basically. Once you tear off certain parts and feed yourself, those parts that you ate, those were your parts. And in that way, all of these sharpened sticks, these furs, these all these different things are your things once you make them for yourself. It's
So they don't throw things away; they just keep it.
yes, because they tend to be useful in they tend to serve a purpose, but also it serves a certain it serves a certain token um, of of carrying these artifacts of memory around with you. That's kind of what these are. When you if you take this pelt of this buck, even though you have your fur, so you won't really need it the same way a human would need it. It's still something that once you grow older, this will always remind you of these times. This is this is like this is like if you've inherited a gray patch on your fur from your one of your parents. That's like a token you carry with you, always to remind you where you're from and who has taught you all you know in life and who has taken care of you and all of these different things. With these items, these kind of artifacts, they also serve as these uh, time capsules of for for uh, for you to remember the emotions, the trials and tribulations that you've gone through. Because once you start to live for as long as we live, your memory can't really keep an entire um, record of everything that's gone on in the past. And of course, we tend to not dwell in the past, but still, it's 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 a good trophy to keep with you. You
How do
learn
I keep it?
about.
Do I drag it around all the time?
Well, you don't need to drag it around. We can put it on your. She kind of like a carpet type of thing, just like puts it on your back basically, and wraps the skin parts that's taken from the buck's upper legs, wraps that kind of around your neck, so it's like on your chest here, and she'll like. You don't need to like drag it around, but it can just come with you on your back or something. You don't have to take it if you don't like to, but it's I suspect once you start to get older, you'll start to reflect on the past. When we learn different things, we learn basically based on our past actions. When we try something and we fail, the next time we try it, we know how to avoid those things that caused us to fail last time. So this will be a constant reminder about certain things you've learned through these trials and tribulations that you've gone through in these times of your becoming.
Thank you.
And she takes one of the one of the she had like peeled these stream-like skins of twigs to wrap around the sticks that were holding the pelt up. She takes one of those and she punctures the flaps that have come here on top of your chest. She makes like little holes on them and then uses the string to wrap it closed, basically, so that it works as an actual like a hoodie, like this animal hoodie on top of you, and it's like tied here. And it might seem odd to wear that, kind of like how a dog feels odd when they're given like these winter clothes and such. You know, it feels strange, but at the same time, you also kind of you're not sure if you kind of grasp everything she was talking about, but you kind of trust that it might make sense one day, perhaps. Who knows?
Oh, I'm definitely sure that it's a kind gesture. So it's something I need to be noble about. So I'll be like, okay, well, thank you for
Once once that's done, you see that she goes to basically take down the frame she had made from the sticks, and she starts to kick dirt uh, on top of the bonfire that was on its last few fumes there, and she's just telling you, we best start to get a move on again. This soil will choke the fire out, and we'll be sure that this fire will not spread to the trees or the grass here.
All right.
And yeah, she's kicking the dirt there, and once that's done, and you're all like, this morning stuff is kind of done with. She then actually while she was kicking the soil, she kind of shape shifts back into the giant wolf form, and just like a wolf, just digs the dirt on top of the uh, pile of sticks, basically, burnt sticks there, and and then she kind of walks past you with a smile, and then just nods her head to let's go.
All right. While she was doing that, I'll probably ask her questions like why she's doing it and how again she made the fire and what you need to do to be safe around it, and pretty much bombard her with questions about these for her probably pretty basic things.
Yeah, but yeah, she'll of course inform you of all this stuff. Even though she showed you how it was done, it's still like still this kind of like you need to confirm the stuff
Yeah,
that
well, I
you just
mean,
learned.
seeing things and knowing why is are two different things, of course. So I'll ask questions that having seen what she did, probably raised in my head about, why does the soul need to be loose instead of just do it anywhere and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, well, all she pretty much answers all your questions, and pretty much while you're doing this, and, it takes a little bit of time and that sort of thing. And after that, it's there was the river right next to you because it was like it was a clearing, and there was a river right close by if in case of if the fire gets out of hand or something. So basically, she goes towards the river again, and she says something like, "Oh, you must be uh, You must be getting pretty good at this already. And she leaps into the water and just the water just splashes everywhere again, and you see her swimming to the other side.
I I look at around. Do I see any branches of stuff lying around?
Yeah, there's all sorts of branches and sticks around from last night and otherwise as well.
I'll drop some branches in the river and see if my suspicions are indeed confirmed, and I'll probably see them float and say, North Star, look, look. I'll be very impressed by myself, like, look, I'm making them float.
Yeah, they do float, and you see that the stream kind of carries them onward. The power of the stream is not that strong at this point, so they're just kind of slowly moving forward. But you do see that they're clearly moving to the same direction as the water is flowing. So yeah, you see that you could technically you all sorts of ideas kind of come to your mind about possibilities if branches float, can an entire tree float, or and if it can float, can you float on top of it, type of thing.
That's the next step, of course. I'll try to like throw branches in it, and I'll try to jump on them, and then jump over the river in its hole. But they're
Okay.
just tiny branches and stuff, so of course you sink through.
Yeah. So even though it's not that hard to, if you put a little time into it, to find a lot bigger branches, like branches that you have trouble fitting into your mouth in the regular wolf form, and that sort of stuff. But not anything like an actual tree trunk or something like that, unless you want to really go all
No, 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 no.
enthusiastic.
It's she has no concept of how bigger it is, how more floating it'll be. So she just throws in some these tiny little branch sticks and just tries to jump over them. But well, fails of course. But she doesn't
Yeah.
know that.
Well, you actually when you jump into the river on top of all these sticks and stuff, some of them kind of scratch you uncomfortably, but yeah, you just fall right through them. And it's when you fall into the water, and when you get up to the surface to swim, you can't help but see North Star on the other side of the river, just laughing her ass off. She in this not in this mocking way, but she's just she lets out this completely like human laughter, something that you've never really heard. Well, in your dream you heard the manic laughter, and that was kind of a disturbing laughter. But the way she laughs, it's very natural. You immediately recognize what it stands for and type of thing. Her eyes are all like almost like these stripes, because and her like wolf mouth is like turned upwards, and tongue is a little bit outside, but you hear this human laughter still coming out from her. This just an all out just and just shaking her head a little bit, and just
I'll probably come to the other side and like start to shake off and look a bit annoyed at the tiny branches. Like they didn't want to carry me.
oh oh the oh, your inquisitive nature is so charming to look at, but 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 yes, that's a good start. That makes sense. The branches do float, trees do float, and people, the humans have used that. I've seen humans uh, make uh, what are those called in English? I can't get the English word into my mouth. Uh,
Canoes,
what?
canoes or boats or
No, I meant the kind of the boardwalk, whatever, that.
piers.
Yeah, pier, exactly. Um, people have actually made entire piers and bridges and walkways past rivers from floating giant logs and branches. So you were on the right track, very much so. But and I have to say, I'm kind of impressed because you've never seen a human settlement, so you don't have any perspective on somebody else figuring it out beforehand. So there might be a lot of problems uh, with your uh, with your abilities to think up stuff like this. You're an all-out inventor, aren't you?
I kind of shrug and say, like, it's just sad that they didn't want to carry me.
One of these days, you'll be able to figure it out. Just keep trying. Just keep at it.
No problem. Where are we going?
The next stop pretty much is the edge of the territory of the Sept. Once we get to the edge of their of their territory, um, we'll simply let our presence be known, and we will go and meet uh, the alphas, the leaders of the Sept. The
Sounds good.
yeah the Guru Sept is a bit different from regular wolf packs because it's a complete collection of wolf packs, of Guru packs.
Oh.
We don't just singular packs don't just control singular territories. We create an entire community around that with an entire set of an alpha for an entire community. We could have multiple packs who equally share a giant area of land uh, that's centered around this sept, these alphas, um, and it's again comes from the human world. It's another balance between uh, how we wolves work in packs, but at the same time we have um, a larger hierarchy. We have an entire tribe, as it's called. Um, we we work as a community to help each other out. We don't just look out for our immediate family or our immediate comrades right next to us. We need to be able to pan out and look at the bigger picture and plan and defend our territories better. So we need to work together uh, in greater lengths than a singular wolf pack ever could.
Defend from who?
Well, it's there are many different there are many different things that could go wrong or could pose a threat uh, to many vital things in life that's precious to us. Uh, when it comes to um, wolf pack and their territory, territory basically means just lands, but lands mean hunting grounds and prey and water and shelter and many of those things.
Mm-hmm.
With an entire werewolf community, an entire tribe, besides that, since we look out for one another in this whole tribe, we don't need to worry too much when it comes to territories about the prey and the water. Um, we need to worry much more about uh, protecting the area that we are on. the communities that we have, the communities that we have are based around these sacred locations, and terms like sacred are kind of odd when you haven't had first-hand experience. So I'm expecting that once we get to the territory and to the set, uh, everything that these terms I'm throwing at you, these concepts, these things that seem strange at first and where it's hard to give form in your mind to the words that you're hearing out of my mouth. I'm trusting that once we get there and you get to meet with the alphas of our sept and the other guru, and you get to experience our community and our way of life, that these things are kind of start to make sense to you in a way, because like I said about the harmony of nature, like I said about the balance of things dying to provide life, and life um, and death having this natural cycle of filling each other with one another. Um, these are all such powerful forces of nature. Like when it starts to rain, when it starts to rain hard, you really can do nothing about it. It's more about just finding shelter from that rain.
Hmm.
Uh, in the same way, these forces of death and life are things where they are such integral parts of nature, about the harmony and of the ecosystem that we see around us, that we don't aim to control it. We don't aim to manipulate it like we did with basically summoning fire through the usage of those tools earlier. But there are many different things out there that do try to affect those things.
Oh.
Um, and it's again, I was born under a wrong moon. It's I'm not the best person to explain all this. There are some who are much better with words than myself at explaining these things. It's just that I'm sure that once you get to experience these, they will all make sense to you.
It's
Um,
all right. I understand. It's like explaining to me what fire is without ever seeing it.
yes, exactly like that. So I'm sure that uh, just like this shape shifting that I'm doing, it's something that's just as instinctive as anything else, but I can't explain it. Just like the fire, I can't, even to this day, after all this time, after so many times of making it manifest itself with these steps of using these tools in this way, I still can't explain it. I can't explain different emotions that I feel. I can't explain uh, the overwhelming uh, sense of awe that I feel when I get to be part of this whole spectacle of life. When I get to uh, be in control of summoning flame out of thin air, basically, or when I get to shape myself in a way that no other creature of other species is capable of, and they are humbling experiences that are that are beyond, not beyond our understanding or comprehension. Really, they're more beyond the mere structural. I feel like an absolute. I feel like I'm going way too deep into this. I don't think I'm even making sense. But for example, the language we speak. Language is structured. Language has form. Language has, even though it's something that changes its shape, if we discover something new that we have never found before, we will have to find a word for it to describe it. In that
Mhm.
way, language is, even though it's something that develops, it's still something that's marginal. It's something that has structure. It's something that works in a certain way. With many other things, many things in life, um, like what I've just explained, they are beyond structure. They are beyond um, compartmentalizing. They are beyond branding. They are beyond uh, making little categories and boxes out of the things you see and feel. Uh, I feel like I'm just further confusing you with what I'm saying.
It's
Um,
all right, North Star. Just I'll I'll see it when I see it.
yes, I really need to introduce you to some Galliards that I know in our community once we get there. I'm not a wordsmith as not as much as I perhaps like to be.
I'm sorry if I made you angry.
No, 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 not at all. Um, it's um, it's just this is the first time I've had to explain any of these things to anyone, and it's been over 30 years since they were first explained to me. So I guess I need to uh, not worry that much if I'm not making full sense of everything. But some things that I think you should know once before we get to the edge of the territories of of the other guru is that just like how I said that we don't eat wolves and we don't eat humans. Once you get to meet humans and you get to see them, uh, it is quite possible that at times your feral instincts might give you the impression that they run away from you like prey. They look around each other uh, and um, and move in herds like prey. Uh, but they are still part of us, and therefore we can never cannibalize on something that's part of us. We wouldn't eat our own young. We wouldn't eat our own elderly. We wouldn't eat our brothers and sisters from the wolf family, and so we will not do so from to the human ones as well. Uh,
Who eats
because
human?
hmm?
Who does eat human?
um, regular beasts of the woods sometimes do, but it's because we have the human side inside us that it's not permitted. It cannot be the norm to eat your uh, your fellow humans because just like you and I were born as wolves, there are other Garou who are born as humans. And
Really?
yes, and for them, hunting and getting the scent of prey and running in the woods and having a tail and all these different things, they are just as confusing to them as these human traits have been to both of us. So that's another reason why we must adhere to these rules, because we have brothers and sisters in our Garou family who have grown up in human communities and have wound up abandoning them in order to be a part of our community. So we cannot forsake our fellow Garou who hail originally from the human communities by devouring their by devouring members of their families.
I understand. We don't eat them, and the ones born from humans don't eat wolves,
Yes. Um,
right?
yes, of course, of course.
Good.
Um, there are a couple of other things as well. Um, there are there are different rules having to do with about protecting our communities, about respecting territory, about respecting the alpha's authority, and about respecting those who are also beneath you in the Omega uh, wolf stature. Since we are all brothers and sisters in this life of a Garou, it's it's we can't turn our backs on any one of us, even though we need strong, authoritative alphas to be our leaders, to be the measuring sticks and the ones who point the way and the ones who defend us uh, the most. We can never really look down on those who are at the lowest stations in our packs. When we get to the community, when we get to the sept, uh, you won't have to fear anyone looking down on you because of you being new. No one is going to bully you around, and no one is going to uh, try to challenge you or any of that sort of thing. We hold that tenet very close to our hearts. We respect those above us and we respect those below us, for we are all Garou.
All
And
right.
and there are other tenets as well, but many of those are things that I really need to get to once all this really uh, all this really once all of this really starts to make more sense, once you've seen what you need to see. Um, while you've been having this conversation, you've been walking the whole time.
Mhm.
At some points, taking little runs and stuff, but you basically covered a lot of ground, a lot of distance in this during this time that you've been talking. Um, and it doesn't take that long until you start to smell this distinct scent. You start to smell this scent that you can only describe as, territory being marked. Basically, you smell the markings of another werewolf. It's like how with wolves, there's they pee on locations to mark the edges of their territory, but you easily make out that that's what the scent is. And almost immediately as you smell that, you see that North Star also kind of stops in her tracks and also is kind of sniffing the air and is looking around and is kind of looking around and going, I think we're just about there.
You smell that?
Yes. And oh, look at there. You can see some of the trees. If you look, you can see like some of the tree trunks have like scratch marks on them, and they're like huge scratch marks. They're like something a bear or a tiger would like leave behind. This something that a werewolf's claws would like leave. Like somebody's used a tree as a scratch pole. And once you see those and you smell the stench of the urine, basically there, it's fairly clear that you map out in your own perception the edges of that territory quite clearly, and North Star looks at you and says that, well, it appears we're here. So just like I said about respecting the territory of others, the main thing about that is that we always need to inform that we are about to tread on someone else's ground and that we wish to pass in peace. This once we let out a howl informing the pack controlling this territory about our intentions, they will have the free rein to either come meet us in whether it's in aggression or whether it's in peace, or simply let us be on our way. It's vital that we inform of our coming. If we don't, wars have been started over such disrespects of others' territory.
Do we just howl out to them?
Yes.
How can we be sure they hear us if the territory is too big?
The territories aren't that big. They are split into sections so that the main large territory is big, but it's split into smaller sections, each section being covered by a wolf pack, all answering to the alphas, the leaders of the sept in the center of this community.
I look expectingly at her, as in like, okay, do it.
I will start, and I want you to I want you to join me in the howl once I've started it, because from here on in, this is going to be extremely vital to you. The ability of communication, basically, it's something that'll save your life, and it's something that'll cause your death if you don't remember to use it.
My eyes widen, so I like give her full focus. Like, all right.
Okay. She in her wolf form, she sits on her on the ground, and she kind of points her nose down to the ground, and she then just raises her nose up in the sky with eyes closed and with lips quite tighter in the front of the mouth. She lets out a howl, and it's not like it's specific words of what she's saying, but what she's basically howling is her identity, her intentions. she's basically howling that this is North Star about that she wishes to tread on this territory, and she has peaceful intentions of just passing through, and she howls that multiple times, the same message over and over and over, just letting out the howls, and when you see her doing that, it's kind of like you get this odd vibe. You While she's howling, you for some reason feel like the wind starts to blow a little bit more. Like you feel the wind blowing off leaves and the grass going with the wind there. And when you join her in howling, and even though you would keep your eyes closed the same way that she would, you also look up and you see that the sky is completely covered in thick clouds. And you start to hear this very mild rumbling of oncoming thunder, this very mild in the distance, and the wind is blowing like it would before a storm, and the air is getting a bit humid. And while you're howling there, letting the guru who whose territory you're about to enter know of your intentions and your presence, I will have you roll perception plus alertness.
Let me see. My perception is 3, and my alertness is 2.
All right. The difficulty will be 7 in this instance.
Seeing as I'm in wolf form, and my senses, of course, are different in wolf form, do I need to keep in mind anything? Like my smell is probably a lot better than, or are these actually the stats that are in wolf form?
These are the stats that we've created for you are your wolf stats.
All right, then I'll just throw them once. Wow, I got a 9, a 7, and a 10.
Oh, okay.
Do the 10s explode, or what do we do with
Oh,
them?
yeah, that's right. In different World of Darkness games, there's different rules of what 10 does. If you can re-roll 10s, or you get this and that, or what the other. I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna say 10 means 2 successes.
All right, nice. So 4 successes.
Okay. When you when you see basically North Star howling there, and you howl as well, North Star's eyes are closed when she points her nose up at the sky, and you feel the same sort of your heart starts to go boom, 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 the same way that it did in your dream, with the feeling of the wind, with the cloudy, rumbling sky, and with this anxiety all of a sudden like creeping into you. When you look up and you howl without like closing your eyes, you see the silhouette on one of the trees, and you can't really make sure what it is really. Like you can't be exactly sure what it is, but you see that it lets go of the tree, and it's almost entirely above you. This, like the tree is there, and this something just detaches itself from the tree and is above you, about to fall right in front of you.
I'll growl at it, and I'll push or probably just bump into her North Star to the side, and so it doesn't fall on her or me.
Okay. This is something that happens very quickly. this chain of events that's going to happen. North Star wasn't as um, on uh, she didn't notice this. You noticed this thing in the tree before her. She wasn't perhaps expecting anything like that. What happens is that at the time the figure detaches itself from the tree and you growl and nudge North Star, she also opens her eyes, and you see that this form is falling down from the tree at very rapid speed, like it just detaches and it falls down. But in this state of this blood pumping through your veins, you almost see in this like highly concentrated series of events when North Star opens her eyes and sees the figure falling in a fraction of a second. You've seen before that it takes like 10 seconds or something for her to shapeshift from forms to one form to another all the way. Uh, in a fraction of a second, just in that kind of a time frame, as soon as she opens her eyes, you see that her pupils kind of shrink very quickly, and in this kind of immediate, just this flexing of and tensing up of her body, this the pelt of her wolf form just explodes and sheds off in this kind of a almost like this paper thin surface of her form just goes off as she, in this fraction of a second, turns into that 9 foot tall werewolf form where she is ginormous, and she has those bulky arms with those long talons and stuff, and she's standing on her hind legs, and she has those huge sharp teeth on her. She shapeshifts into that form in a fraction of a second right before your eyes, before you even have the time to form a word out of your mouth. She's already, before you get to really comprehend what she did, she's already done that. And as she turned, the figure falls in front of her and you, and is still shrouded in shadow. You can't make out exactly what it is except for a very familiar looking silhouette, as the silhouette looks very much like the shape that North Star is in right now. And as it came down, you just hear this sound, and you see blood, this bright red blood, just gush out of North Star's thighs, and you see these long, long like lines of red in her thighs, and that blood just explodes out of, and she lets out this very bestial growl of pain. And what you see basically in front of you is that you see two of these 9 foot tall monstrous creatures, and one of them has just leaped from the tree and slashed the thighs of your friend here. And because of that, I will have you roll as a single die to see whether you can maintain your composure. I'm not going to have you roll specifically for rage, because you've not learned to channel and maintain and manage your rage, so it doesn't really work in this part the same way as it would later on. So just through basically the luck of a single die, what do you get?
A 1.
A 1! Okay. Immediately when you see this, this person that has basically been very much like a friend to you, very open, very kind, very warm to you, who's taught you all these different things, and even though the stuff she said has been this new stuff that you've never heard before, they've all really clicked with you. So you feel like you've found someone who actually is on the same wavelength as you. And when you see her get hurt in this way from another one of you who looks like one of you, at least from the silhouette that you see before you, it just brings this shock to you. And just like in your dream, like you were now feeling the anxiety of your heart just pumping this burning blood in your veins, when you see that, you just it's just it kicks you into high gear. It just makes you feel just like the way you felt when your brother attacked you with the intent to kill. You feel like this burning napalm like burning coming through your veins, pumping through your blood. You feel like the veins bulging on your body in an instant, and you feel like that this is fight or flight situation. You are not going to choose flight because someone just hurt your friend and is about to no doubt try to hurt you as well. And this animalistic instinct just starts to just squeeze into you. And as you're like, you can comprehend and see what's in front of you. It's just that everything is starting to turn into black and red the way it was in your dream. And you see your palms in front of you just immediately bulge into these giant fingers with these giant eagle-like talons in your fingertips. And as this is happening, you hear this taunting that the other creature in front of you is saying to your friend. You hear this laughter, this mocking laughter of North Star, I didn't know you were back. And at this point, you see North Star fling herself forward as you can't help yourself but fling yourself forward as well. When you both fling forward in this attacking stance, you don't get the same vibe from North Star that she would be flipping out with froth just coming out of her mouth, because that's what's happening with you. You're seeing red. You feel this foam coming out from your mouth. You feel this all your muscles tensing up and this burning blood just flowing through you. You see that just as you're about to get to him, you see that North Star gets to him first, grabs him from his neck skin and fur, the same kind of way that your brother did to you when he tossed you onto the ground. She is now grabbing at it with her hands and squeezing on it, and with the same momentum of leaping forward, you see that this bright light all of a sudden appears from behind this other werewolf. You feel like you're so in full instinct mode. You're in such predator mode that you can't hold yourself back. And what you see in front of you is just dreamlike. It feels like you're living in the dream that you had last night to a certain extent, because you see this bright light with this crackling Tesla coil style electricity in the air. You see the fabric of the forest, the scenery of the forest in front of you tear up. It's not like some ball of light appears in it. It's that the inside of the physical that you see in front of you is this light. It seems that like the skin of an animal that you tear open with your teeth. All of a sudden, as North Star is grabbing this other werewolf and shoving him forward, the fabric of reality tears like the skin of a prey animal, and like you shoving your nose and your teeth into a wound to tear flesh out of it, you and North Star with this other werewolf squeeze into this tear in front of you. It's all very surreal and it's all very dreamlike, and you just, in your mind's eye, you're just mouth open, eyes wide, just unable to comprehend what you're seeing and feeling. And once you squeeze through, you see in this pale, bright light, you see that this other wolf in this bright light is completely bright orange and brown. He's not gray at all like you and North Star are. He's completely brown, and he has in his hand he has a a leg bone of an animal, some great big moose or something, that's sharpened on the other end, just like you sharpened sticks. It's a sharpened bone uh, that that's as bright as the light of the moon at night. It's just bright as anything you've seen. And all this stuff in front of you is something you don't have any time to think about. All you're thinking about is kill or be killed. Before your own eyes, you're plunging forward with each swipe of your hands with your claws, and you're just, every time it's kind of, and it's just every time spit is flying out of your mouth as you're flinging your arms around, and you see also North Star attempting her best, but you see that the other werewolf is also flinging this sharpened bone around, and you see and you feel your claws sink into his flesh and just spread his blood around the air around you, just and you see uh, the other werewolf attacking your friend. You see him attacking North Star in front of you. You hear, and you see, and you almost feel these stabbing motions that he makes with this sharpened bone. It's just this this sound and this feeling of this piercing, incredibly painful tool hurting North Star, stabbing her legs, stabbing her in the shoulder, cutting her in the forehead while she's trying her best to fight this other creature, and at the meanwhile you're flinging you like a lunatic with like a complete beast, your arms forward, and only after you've gone into a complete haze of just your arms moving faster than you can even comprehend yourself, and with every swipe you're just letting out this and every time you get faster it just turns into this blur of motion and blur of sound until it just kind of fades into you being entirely spent, and as the last kind of feeling before you lose consciousness is feeling your own back hit the soft ground next to you. And you have these, while you're unconscious for a while, it's this, you're not dreaming. You have these impulses, you feel these, this almost like this nauseating and weak these pulses around you, and you feel yourself like ooh, like mumbling and groaning while on the ground and flinging your arms around in the ground until you open your eyes. When you open your eyes, you're looking at the sky the same way you were in your dream earlier, but this time it's not red and black as it was when you were swiping in fury. It's now mostly white and black with this strange hue of this uh, greenish, bluish color hue in it. But what you see around you is when you look up, you see the black night sky with the familiar stars that you've seen on every night that it's not cloudy. Only there's about 3 times as many stars in the sky as you've ever seen before. You see that there's this bright, very bright white light everywhere, which forms these absolutely hugely strong black, thick, pitch black shadows everywhere. You see this mist come into your peripheral vision from your mouth and from your nose, from your breathing, just like it does in winter time. But it doesn't feel cold. You don't feel cold around, but you feel the air sucking through your nostrils and your mouth into your throat and back out as if it was cold. It feels like it's just gliding into your body and then just evaporating out of your system in this in this cloud of mist that's forming out of your mouth.
I need a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back.
Okay, sure. Well, I guess it's my turn to try and entertain the people while somebody else takes a bathroom break. Well, in that case, I'll I'll actually say that I've never ran Werewolf the Dark Ages before, nor have I ever ran anyone really this first change type stuff. I've played vampire games where I've had the storyline of starting with me becoming a vampire or my character becoming a vampire, and I've always wanted to use certain things in Werewolf that are like that. But it's just that Werewolf has so many completely new things to bring into this whole thing. The world is so different from the werewolf world is so different from the human world and the regular wolf world compared to something like vampire, where it's like, yeah, it's like the human world, but it's kind of like a secret society with all these powers and this secret history and this sort of things, alongside of dealing with the morality and that sort of thing of being undead and having to prey upon others and that sort of thing. But with Werewolf, it's very, very different, and I find that very interesting to explore, and it's a new avenue for me, for sure. And yeah, it's interesting. So
All right, I'm back.
okay.
Sorry, man, you were just going on, and I was like, oh man, I need to pee.
Natural urges cannot be avoided. But yeah. It's because you're so mentally and physically exhausted. This is like coming down from having lost consciousness, basically. So you're basically just piece by piece taking in what your perception is telling you, and you feel that sort of a stream of wind around you. And you feel this grass around you. But as you look around, you see the trees around you. You see the trees of the forest that were around you before when you came to this territory and such. But when you look at the trees, they look different. The trees look like, just like everything else that I described here, looks like the contrast, the color contrast is very high. It seems like the points where light hits something is extremely bright, and where there's shadow, the shadow is completely pitch black, and they're very strong shadows. So when you see trees, the branches themselves are extremely light, but the parts around it, below them, the shadows are extremely dark. And when you look around you and you see the trees, you see that they emanate this certain feeling, this certain light. You feel like these are like impulses. You're feeling like the pulse of these trees around you. The same way you would if you would press your ear against someone's chest, and you not only hear the heartbeat, you hear all the organs, and you feel all the or you feel like you hear their breath, and you hear the heartbeat and all that. You feel like it's completely like pulsating, living, organic thing that your perception is informing you of. In the same way, when you look at the trees, they don't look like just these objects like they used to, even though the objects were full of life and detail to be investigated and discovered. Here, what is emanating from them is the same sort of pulse that a living being gives. This sort of type of thing. And when you look at yourself, you see your fur like flowing. It's flowing just like hair flows underwater. Like if you have long hair and you're underwater and it like flows. But the gravity doesn't feel like underwater. The hair just does that. The gravity itself feels actually lighter. When you lift your arms, even though you're completely tired and spent, it's still this kind of like it feels like you've just lifted extremely strong weights, and then you let go of the weights, and your arms feel extremely light. It's like you, the gravity around you feels different, but it feels calming, and it feels comfortable, and it feels natural. And when all these things in this sort of a bluish, greenish hue around you start to like come out of this blurry vision that you've had because of losing your consciousness, you start to like turn your head and look around you. And when you turn your head, you see that there's two wolves lying on the ground. Both are bloody. You see an orange, brownish wolf a little distance away from you with its back towards you, and it's lying on the ground, and it's lying on a pool of blood. And then you see on your other side, you see the familiar body of North Star, who's also laying in a pool of blood.
Can I try to get up? I want to get to North Star.
Mm. Once you see her and the other one, all your faculties return to you almost immediately, and you realize you had full awareness of what was going on earlier, but you just had no control. It was just pure impulse. Um, when you see her there next to you, you go to get up. You notice that even though this time you lost consciousness, and other times when you've had dreams and such, you're always in your natural wolf form when you wake up. This time, after waking up from this frenzied state, you wake up and you're in that same form, that 9 foot tall mixture of these two worlds, the human and the wolf, completely blended together. And when you step up and you see North Star there in front of you, just like in the dream before, when you were towering over these fighting people, when you see North Star there compared to your size and your height of your eye level, she almost seems the size of a pup, of a defenseless puppy in front of you. And even though you have the impulse of course, going to see and help her, you feel this rush of emotion even more because she seems even more helpless to your eyes. And you go to her, and when you move, it's like I described, your hands moving, your arms moving. It feels extremely light. You feel like you move here compared to the movement here. The movement before has felt like restrictive. And you get to North Star, and what do you do when you get to her?
I probably will start to sniff her and try to find out if she's still alive.
Yeah. When you start to sniff her and check on her, you do see that she is alive, and she's letting out this as she exhales every time there's this very mild whine of pain there. And but she is breathing, and she's laying on her side there. Uh, but as you see her, she's not only like in a pool of blood. Her back legs, her thighs are still like they look uh, like they have like these huge lacerations uh, on them. So it looks pretty bad.
Then my attention will turn to the guy that attacked us or the person that attacked us, and I will go and check if he's alive.
He's actually dead. You
Okay.
you notice that fairly quickly, but you notice when you're looking at him, you see that his body is filled with old scars. You see that he has leather straps bound to his wrists that have like wooden pebbles attached to them. You see that he has scars on his shoulders and on his chest that have clearly been made on purpose into a shape. Uh, some of these scars are in the shape of circles. Some of them are in the shape of other patterns that are clearly like snaking around the areas that they've been carved on his flesh. And you see that he's missing one of his uh, wolf teeth there, and he basically looks like someone who's had his fair share of brutal fights in his lifetime, but now he lays dead there in the pool of his own blood. And when you look at the blood, you see that from the puddle, there's there's uh, there's plants growing from it. Like there's these leaves and these strong, these long grasses and stuff, like poking out of it, and clearly like looking like they've nourished on his life blood that he spilled on
Mhm.
the ground.
Well, then my attention will probably quickly return to North Star, and I'll probably yeah, what do wolves do? I probably nuzzle and lick her wounds and try to do whatever I can to make her, well, I'm assuming her death as pleasurable as it's possible to be, because well, nobody's gonna survive this.
It's yeah. As a wolf, it's pretty clear if this were to happen to another
An
wolf,
honor.
yeah, they're gone. But yeah, as you lick her, there she turns her head, and with this uh, animal like whimpering, she makes out words between them, and she turns her head and goes to you. Where where are we? I can't see.
We're in some strange forest. I don't know where we are. It's a strange place. I've never been here before. Everything acts differently. It's all right. Just rest. It's, you're going to die.
No, I'm not. But uh, uh, but it's going to be painful.
Trust me, you're going to die. It's the field is spread with your blood.
Yes, but as 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 I've as we are in as we are guardians of the harmony of nature, of the balance of life and death, we also walk a thin line between life and death. I I may seem like I'm mortally wounded, but I'm not going to die because of this.
You're not? How do you know? I look again at her legs like, how could anyone come back from this?
Uh, she looks at you, and after she squinted her eyes a little bit, she turns to you and says, "Whatever happened to your ear?"
My brother bit it. I probably touch it.
Quite a nasty bite, though it doesn't seem like it left any. It seems that it's healed quite nicely.
Does it feel any different?
Hmm. Well, it's just that had you been hurt like this in your encounter, you would be okay at this time already. See the bastard there used our beloved moon against me. He's cut my legs with that damn thing that he's dipped in the moon's blood. Uh, you need to. I.
You're not making any sense.
It's. You need to go and get help. You. Since I can't see him, we need to get to the set. We need to get there as soon as possible. It's not safe. He. If he attacked us, his brethren have attacked our brethren. And they're.
He's, this isn't the one whose territory we wanted to enter?
No. No, he's not. He's a damned red talon.
I thought gurus respected each other.
Yeah, that's a nice thought. But oh, it's going to take days for my legs to heal. I'm going to need your help, and I can't see. He cut my forehead too bad, and my eyes are full of blood. I, I have an ally who can help you, and then you can help me. So I'm going to need you to get in contact with this ally of mine.
Ooh,
This is one of those times again where she's coughing up blood a little bit. This is one of those times again where I don't think I have the words to explain. Just take what I say at face value. Climb a high tree where birds nest and make their homes, and summon the spirit of the cuckoo bird in my name.
All right. I gonna shrug and like, okay.
Yeah.
I look around. Is there a cuckoo bird of a tree with nests in it somewhere?
Uh, you can make out really at the base of those trees any specific ones that might have one. But you do see in the distance, right in front of you, you see a rather familiar looking tree. You see amongst these regular forest pine trees, you see this one big tree that's in its past been licked by lightning, and its outer shell, its bark, has mostly fallen off, and it's mostly like a naked tree there, and it stands a lot taller than the other trees.
I taking signs as they are. I'm assuming that's where I have to be. So I'll I will kind of nuzzle North Star and say, I have to move away from you for a while. Be careful.
Just come back to me once it's done.
I'll come back, I promise.
We'll
Don't
need
die.
you'll need to get to the sept. That's all that matters.
I uh, I hurry towards this tree.
When you start to get to it, you notice your surroundings at this time that uh, while you're going there, just like when you've sometimes in your life removed bark from a tree to see insects swarming inside it, and just like you've seen how the ant hills and such have worked, you easily have made the assumptions of how they're just steaming with life. These trees are just full of different life forms that are dependent on it to for their life to be possible, and all this stuff. While you're going, you actually quite literally and visually see that. When you go past trees, you just see this life flowing and emanating from them. When you, even though you are running straight at that's one specific tree, you see when you walk that the grass when it kind of flows beneath your feet there as your fur flows in the air as well, and the air is just puffing into this smoke from your mouth and nostrils. You see all these things that are um, just uh, they just come out like you see a singular insect crawling in the ground, but it's like a spotlight is placed on that insect. You clearly, even from your height at this moment, you see the insect. You see the life pulsating from it, and you see all these different things on the trees just emanating this light. Uh, just just this not only visually seeing like, oh, there's insects, so that's full of life. You just like the trees impulses, or these pulsating remnants of life. You visually see that all the insects around you, all the small little wildlife around you, all the squirrels in the trees and stuff, they are all very much like emanating this this aura, this light of life basically from them, and something that even though you're going straight to the tree as quickly as you can type of thing, it's still something that you don't need to look for more than a second at these things to kind of comprehend what you're seeing. You don't know the nigs and nags of how everything works in that sense, but you immediately recognize what you're seeing, and it immediately feels natural what you're seeing. It immediately feels like this is like connected to the regular animals that you've seen in your life. That in these animals is somehow just shown the uh, the immense power of life that's in every living creature type of thing. And once you get to that tree, in your current form with having arms and hands and all that, uh, you can climb it if you wish.
I will do so. I will also probably be because this forest seemingly places such great value on life, placing more or less, well, as we would call it, spotlights on anything that lives. I will be, even though I try to hurry as quickly as I can, I'll try to be careful not to like accidentally step on anything or something that will crush somebody because I am this huge towering beast going through the forest. So I'll be very careful and I'll start to climb the tree. Um, well, as quickly as possible.
Yeah. As you start to grab the branches and you're climbing the tree, it's again this just like in your dream in the beginning. You come to the point where you climb above the tree line, where once you've gotten high enough above the tree line, you just see this entire ocean of trees, each emanating the same kind of light around them, uh, showing how much life is like emanating around you. And when you look up into the sky now that there's no trees like blocking your view of the sky in any way, you see just like in that dream you had, you see the moon in the sky, and the moon is about 20 times as large as the moon in the that you've seen before in your life. It's just gigantic. It's just it looks like a planet that's about to hit Earth type of thing. It's so big, and it just like a spotlight. It just emanates this light that just when you look at it and your eyes go big, it just you just feel it on the surface of your eyes, and you feel it reflecting back, and you feel like this there is a connection between you and the moon. And just like with the pulsating life from all these animals around you, you feel the same sort of pulses from the moon itself. You feel like that is not just a light in the sky, it's an entire entity of some sort. You can't comprehend. I mean, you can comprehend, but you can't put it to words for yourself. You have it in front of you, but you don't have the tools to, you know, make exact sense of it, in the end. And there you are on the branches in this scenery of dark shadows and bright white light everywhere. Just this ginormous creature seeming very, very small compared to the gigantic moon in 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 its horizon and this entire sea of forest around you. And it's something that for a while as you're looking at it, it feels like a very humbling experience and something where you feel like you don't have the words to express this, but you feel like you need some symbol, you need some language to express this moon. And you have your claws there, and you see the trunk of the tree that you carved on in your dream after seeing the moon this large.
I'll take my claw and just do what comes natural. I'll just place it in the tree and kind of carefully mark it to commemorate, just like North Star said, this moment of, in my opinion, seeing the moon for the first time as it is, and realizing what kind of power there is behind this, and just I move my claw as my feeling dictates, and just for a short moment, and then I'll leave it be, so I won't damage the tree any more than it needs to. But this is a moment that needs to be eternalized.
Well put. As you put your claws on the trunk of the tree, just like you said, naturally it comes to you to create this this glyph, this sign of basically a circle. I don't mean to be a nitpicker or anything like that, but could you mute the microphone while the crunching sounds are coming through?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
There you go. So yeah, what comes naturally is like in your dream. You just carve. In your dream, you were carving with a sharp stone, but in your dream, you were basically, you had human hands. You were expressing something in a human form while being a wolf, while now in reality you are the complete like combination of those two worlds in your Krynos form, and with your large talons you carve the this spiral symbol expressing what you're seeing and what you're feeling in this moment. And yeah.
Do I see any bird's nest here?
You don't see a particular nest in this particular tree, but you do see like different, like you see flying birds in basically the all around you.
All right, but I needed to find a tree with a bird nest in it, so I'll look around to see if I can find any trees with bird nests in them.
You can also like how North Star told you to summon it in her name. It's also something that kind of pops into your mind that you could also howl for it.
Oh yeah, but I thought you specified that it needed to be in a tree where there are tree nests in it, not just birds.
Oh yeah, true. You could definitely do that as well. There's or I could just correct what I said and say that there is actually a bird nest in the tree that you're in right now, instead of just go down and climb to another tree. So
then I'll call out to quite similar probably as I well, learned is a big word, but I saw North Star do as she introduced herself in this new territory. I'll probably brace myself, so really grab the branches firmly, both with my hands and my feet, and I will let out this howl, where I will indeed call out to this cuckoo bird in North Star's name because she needs his help, and whatever alliance they have between themselves, please uh, heed upon it now and give answer.
Okay. As you let out the howl, you see that a lot of birds from other trees start to fly off. Like that, you see this from different treetops, and you hear this crowing from other trees. In this entire sea of trees that is before you, you hear these kind of squirkings of crows, and you hear of all kinds of birds that are there, and it sounds to your ear like just this basic bah, 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 but at the same time it's almost like booing noises, kind of like if somebody comes to an arena and the whole crowd is like boo. It's like all the other birds are expressing their distaste of the particular spirit you've just summoned, and
All right.
after that, after you start to see the reactions of from the other trees around you, you do notice this one bright light coming towards you from the horizon, straight at you, straight in front of you. It's almost like you look into the. It almost looks like it's coming straight from the moon itself. Because when you notice it, it's almost like you notice the shadows of its form, because it's the parts where light hits it are as bright as the moon itself. And you see this bird figure. It's pretty much the same size as a regular cuckoo bird, so it's quite close by the time you notice it, actually. And
So there's probably this spotlight on it, so
yeah, in that sense, yeah, true. But yeah, when you see it, it's like uh, with a lot of spirits that you saw here, uh, it's like they look a bit different than you, in the sense that whereas you look exactly the same as you did before in the other kind of forests that you've been in, uh, this thing doesn't look exactly like a regular cuckoo bird just in this forest. It looks like it's almost like it's been drawn with those giant, big Japanese calligraphy brushes, you know? It looks like it has strong outlines on it, kind of like well, there's a video game where you play as a wolf that has outlines drawn that way. Uh, anyway, kind of like that. Kind of like that game that I can't remember the name of. And the bird is basically like flying towards you, and it's this bright, uh, very high contrast type of a color scheme with this kind of black outlines all over its body, very thick black outlines, and it comes and it flies into one of the branches that's like on your eye level in front of you on the tree, and it just flies to sit there, and it looks straight into you, and it has these uh, eyes that are like black marbles. They're like black, and they just it's like light reflects off of them so much that the black is shining, and it kind of looks at you and turns its head, and it then bows its head and spreads its wings as it bows deep in front of you and says, "My friend."
I remembering what Northstar said, and not to consider this bird as a prey, and I will probably act similar. Bows are a relative common thing in wolves as well. As in, bow your head and stuff. So I will show the same respect to this bird.
You
And
still hear in the background the disapproval of other birds around.
mhm. I'll bow as well and say, North Star told me to summon you.
Uh, yes, I heard. It appears she is again in need of my assistance.
She's going to die.
Is she now?
She says she's not, but I see the wounds. She can't see them. They're fatal.
Hmm. Then I wonder what she wants from me. Very well, my sweet girl, take me to her. I will hear it from herself.
I will start to climb down the tree, and when I consider the distance acceptable enough, I'll probably jump out of it and then hurry back to North Star. This way, please.
As you started to climb down, the cuckoo bird has flown on your shoulder and is like a parrot is sitting there, looking into the direction you're looking. And yeah, you run towards North Star, and he looks at her and says, "Is she dead?" And you see that she's not moving.
I'll go check on her.
You see that she's not moving, she's not conscious, but her chest is going up and down.
She's still breathing, but I think she'll be gone soon.
You see that the cuckoo bird spirit is looking around and looks at the bone on the ground. Of course. This is an unpleasant predicament she finds herself in. You might as well pick up that tool there, pup. It might become vital in the near future.
The tool? You
Yes.
mean that thing?
Yes.
I pick it up.
I suppose since North Star hasn't been around for a while, she is not aware that there has been an entire skirmish in these woods for the past 2 days. Blood has been spilled everywhere.
She didn't mention anything.
And I
We
suppose
went to see the pack leader, the Alpha.
she was taking her new pup to see the set. Of course. So, if she's in this condition, the only thing she could possibly want from my services is to guide you there. I see. Go on, pup. Pick up that tool.
I pick it up.
And pick her up as well.
I'll probably put the tool in my mouth and pick her up with my arms.
Yeah, she's small enough. It's like cradling a baby or a toddler or something. She's like, compared to
Is she
you, a
wolf
regular
shape
wolf.
or what?
Hmm?
Is she in wolf shape or human
Yeah,
shape or what?
yeah, she's in regular wolf shape. She's
Okay.
lost consciousness and reverted back to her natural form.
All right. So then she's probably easy indeed to pick up. And
Yeah.
are you here now?
Hmm. We will have to see how this path of ours will form in front of us. There has been so much meaningless death in the name of jealousy, in the name of pride, in the name of fear, that there are bound to be banes in these parts.
Bones?
Banes, dear pup. I suppose you're too fresh to have ever encountered one. You see all this life around you. They all represent things. Everything casts a shadow. We are now in the velvet shadow of the world. This is the shadow that the world casts. You are a visitor here. I am the shadow of your common cuckoo birds. Just as the moon, just as Luna above us is the shadow of the moon you're familiar with. Everything around you is the reflection of the physical.
What
And
of
the
my
bane,
reflection?
and the bane is a reflection of something similar that you represent. And just like you need to take care of these surroundings, these sanctuaries that I live in as well, banes do the opposite. Wherever there's death and misery and fear and loathing and pride and prejudice and fear and all these weaknesses, they prey on it. And they are deadly. They are extremely deadly to you and me. So I will not only guide you, but I will do my best to protect you. This will be the second time I will be covering your scent, pup.
Second time?
I suppose you haven't been told everything yet. Oh well. It is not my place to tell you of personal matters. But let us just say me and Northstar have worked to mutually beneficial ends in the past multiple times. These other birds may not appreciate me and my talents, but I assure you, I have provided life-saving help to your little friend here. Now follow me and stay out of high wind, for as much as I can cover your scent and masquerade you in these parts with my charms, still banes are to be feared. For there is nothing really to fear but fear itself. Come. And it flies off of your shoulder and it goes into the air and flies ahead of you, a little bit above you, scouting ahead and and guiding you onward, straight into the same direction that you originally were going into with North Star.
I will follow him, and I will not blindly follow him. I will indeed heed his words, and I will be very aware of the wind and where I'm located according to it, recalling everything that my parents and pack members taught me about hunting and that sort of stuff.
Hmm. Okay. Um, after a while, after a while of going through here, you notice different things. For example, you see even though North Star is unconscious, she still shows very much vital signs that give you hope as to she's not dead yet and that sort of thing. But still, her wounds haven't really healed that well. Uh,
That's
and
surprising.
mm, and the uh, the woods around you, you see that there's a lot of different birds on tree branches looking at you as you walk past, and they're all kind of looking down on you in this kind of like looking at you, you know, with their like through their noses kind of thing, kind of like how they were letting their dissent be known when you summoned the cuckoo bird. At the same time, they are looking at you with this kind of uh, you know, this,
Disapproving.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're not saying anything really beyond that. But as you do walk around, you notice all kinds of different things, not just birds or insects, but you see a hedgehog walking by. You see the tail of a fox go by, and that sort of thing. And they're all of these animals have the same sort of black outline that looks like it's done with those calligraphy brushes, like these really like strong and like type of textures type of thing, you know, and it's it becomes kind of apparent after a while that most, if not all, of these animals look like they are on the same kind of level in terms of uh, their intelligence and understanding, just like the cuckoo bird. uh, they seem like you can like read from their body language and their faces and stuff. You can make out that they're formulating like actual sentences in their mind as they're going about. Like you see a bird looking at you and doing the motions of basically being like rolling eyes and shrugging shoulders type of thing. You know, you see familiar patterns like that. You know. And after you walk there a while, you know, what sort of stuff is going through your mind as you're in this very unfamiliar yet familiar place with all this stuff going on?
There's not a lot of things going through my mind because all of this is, well, for lack of a better word, unnatural to her. But so she's clinging on to what North Star said to her. Take everything at face value. So she's just like this. She has like this. The doors of her mind are open and like I'm not judging anything. Anything can happen if these trees all of a sudden start doing this little dance. That's what happens here. It's all okay. So uh, the only thing that's probably gnawing a bit at her brain is why are all the other birds so disapproving of this cuckoo bird, and which kind of makes her doubt him. But seeing as North Star vouched for him and was the one that she was supposed to summon, that gives him so much credit that she's like, well, you know, he might be not the most savory type in the world, but he's the one who's helping us, and the others are just acting disapprovingly.
Yeah. Once you walk around a little bit there, you start to notice that some of the trees have pretty strong scratch marks on them. Uh, the same way that, you know, of course you saw, you know, the territory borders being marked and such, but you see different kind of things. You start to see like when the wind makes the grass like wave, there are certain points where for some reason the grass doesn't wave, like there's an edge, like the grass waves and the grass is like slanted and flat. and those areas like make up like this like let's say human size or wolf size patch on the ground where the grass is not waving. And around those parts, there's trees that have like slashes on them, and other things like that. Like there's multiple trees that have that, and there are multiple patches here and there of this grass that's flat that way.
This will probably trigger me into an even more stealthier modus than I am right now, because that might mean that there's something there which I can't see, or, do I smell anything?
As you're now attempting to smell, I will have you actually do let's say, perception and primal urge, since it's about smell.
So that will be six
No, actually,
dice.
let's have it
Oh,
be alertness, because that's what you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to be alert. Yeah.
all right. Then it's 5. I've got difficulty 7 again, or
This time it's 6, regular.
6. Then I've got 4 successes.
Okay, good. In that case, you start to get this, let's not say a specific smell, but you start to get this not only because of the suspicion from those signs that okay, you need to be more, ready for trouble. You get this almost this. You get this. You start to at the same time hear faint noises, faint like footsteps sounding voices, and at the same time you see that the cuckoo bird has like stopped for a bit, and it's like flapping in place in the air.
I'll take cover and try to hide, or at least be as quiet as possible.
Yeah. When you do that, when you go to cover there behind like a tree or something, you see that the cuckoo bird kind of turns and looks at you, and then it looks forward and just flies forward. And it takes a little short while, and then you see that it flies back towards you. And it flies and it comes to your shoulder there, and it says that, like I said, there is a Bane right in front of us. We must proceed with extreme caution, lest we endanger our friend here. Banes do not only pose a physical threat, but they sometimes, and quite often, attempt to take over physical living beings so as to experience the physical world firsthand. All of us here wish to experience the physical world at first hand in some increments, perhaps. But with a Bane, they can take control of an actual living being. It's something to either destroy as quickly as possible or avoid at all costs.
What do you suggest?
Since we are in a hurry, since at any point any of these red talon scum can come here and pounce on us from behind, we must act quickly. So I suggest we shall use my charms. I shall bestow upon you some of my gifts, some of my abilities. I will collect payment from North Star at some point for this help. But it serves no end for us to get ourselves killed, you understand?
Yes.
As the cuckoo bird I am, the master of the masquerade. I am the master of the veil of disguise. I will make you seem like a Bane. I will give you the momentary ability to fool the Bane into thinking you are one of its kind. If it works, we can get through scot-free. If it does not, you best prepare yourself for the fight of your life.
Agreed.
Fine then. It starts to fly above you and forming a circle around you, and it flaps its wings, and you see it like flexing kind of its back, so that its back feathers kind of go erect, and when they go erect, certain other kind of feathers start to sprout out from beneath, and the ones that were kind of erecting first kind of pull back, and once those feathers kind of relax on top of his body, those are like completely new coats of feathers on him. While he's flying above you, this this you see like all of your hair start that's flowing in the air, like described earlier. They start to like flatten on top of your body. You see like all the hair in your body like flatten, and you start to turn completely as black as those shadows that you saw that you see around you on everything, that every surface has like these very dark black shadows. You see that your entire body is starting to get coated with that sort of thing, and it starts to become this vinyl looking pitch black thing. Your limbs start to shrivel into these bone thin limbs, both your legs and both your arms, and you see that your regular arms get like melded into your torso, not like they squeeze in, but they get like masked as if you just have a very bulgy chest type of thing as you're holding North Star there, and these fake, very like bone thin arms with these long spider leg like fingers from your hands are like come out of your shoulders, and you have no idea what your face looks like, but you can only imagine you're being basically turned into this very like dark and creepy kind of creature. So it's perhaps best that you don't even know what you look like.
Indeed. The stuff nightmares are made of.
Yeah, it's very much like when you go to move, all your joints seem to like bend in very chaotic, odd ways, like, and there's like crackling and snapping kind of sounds, and your arms also, they like make these wavy movements where sometimes your arm shrivels up and the other arm gets bigger, and sometimes the other way around. Sometimes your arm splits into two arms as it goes back. Sometimes fingers shove their way through your shoulder and grow as the old arm like shrivels, and it's like this chaotic material on top of your body. And when you walk this way uh, out from your cover, and you see the cuckoo bird is also like it's constantly like a chameleon. Its feathers are constantly changing. It's constantly like at the same time sucking in on itself old feathers and putting out new ones that have different patterns and such. And it's like constantly doing that, so it's like constantly in like shape shifting mode, and it's like flying above you. And once you get like few steps forward over like a ridge, you start to hear these voices. You start to hear these sounds from the from a little distance away from in front of you. You start to hear these dragging sounds of like somebody dragging their feet or dragging their knuckles on the ground, and you start to hear this wailing sound. It's like this if somebody's like crying desperately, their eyes out, but through gritted teeth. This kind of creepy, this kind of type of uh, wailing in the distance. And after a little while, you see that in the at the same time, though the light is very illuminating, there's also a lot of darkness in the forest because of the shadows. You see this black thing there that's dragging itself forward. It's almost this ghastly looking giant centipede type of thing where this centipede-like body is almost like a giant cape for this thing with legs and arms that are like crooked and twitchy, and it's like on its hands and knees on the ground, just like crawling forward, and it has this outwardly protruding head. It's still this kind of vinyl black, shiny surface thing with a lot of like spikes and odd shapes all around it, and you see that it's like the head just ends into this mouth with extremely like vertically like perfectly like almost like some chomping vertical like teeth, you know, like human teeth, but completely like smoothly vertical. And from this blackness, there's just those teeth, and it's just through those gritted teeth, it's just letting out this wailing as it's like searching like a bottom feeder in a fish tank. It's like searching the ground and it's letting out this wailing sound, and it's like its hands are like creeping around, and you see that very quickly after you've spotted it, it lifts its head and looks around very like this in alert way. And I will have you roll for this. The difficulty is going to be low. That's how I'm going to have the charm work of masquerading here. So I will have you roll stealth and dexterity, and the difficulty is going to be 4.
I've got a stealth of 3 and a dexterity of 4. So difficulty 4. Oh, that sounds doable. Let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Oh, nice. I'll throw for the Bane here. He won't even have 5 dice, so don't worry. It's not gonna. It's impossible to completely
go on the 10 sides.
Yeah, sure. No, actually, he got nothing. He got one success and 1 botch, so they completely like they cancel out each other. So your masquerade here works perfectly, but it does make you clench your sphincter when you see it lift its head and look straight at your direction. It just goes, and it's just its head is like spanning. You don't know. You don't see any nostrils. You don't see any ears. You don't see any eyes and such. So it's like it's also for an animal like you, it's kind of strange and creepy where you to you it seems like it's blind completely or something, and it's just and it's still like pandering around, and then it locks its sights straight into your direction, and it kind of freezes, and then you see it get all of a sudden some speed under it, and it just starts to just getting straight toward you. There's still a lot of distance between you and it, so it's like just at the distance where you could see it. So there's still a lot of room for it to come to you, but it clearly looked straight into your direction and started to like drag itself with as much speed as it can drag itself.
What do? I kind of whisper through my teeth to the bird.
You see that the bird is kind of it's not answering you. It's just looking.
I'll move on, just in the direction that we need to go. I mean, I'm assuming I know where we need to go, right?
Yeah, basically the same. Continue on with the same direction in front of you, basically. Uh,
Mhm.
so you're basically going. Since the Bane is coming straight at you, you're basically walking also kind of straight at the same direction that he is in.
Yeah, if I flee now, it's going to be really weird. So
Yeah.
I'll keep moving,
Okay.
trusting that the illusion will hold.
Yeah. As you, well, you did see the die roll.
Yeah,
As,
true.
as you
Shouldn't
started
have told me.
as as you started to take your first few steps, you still have this kind of a like, is it coming at me type of thing,
Yeah, I
and
need
as
to.
it's
I'm fighting the urge to grab the knife thingy and start to slash it as it comes closer.
yeah, and as it starts to come close, you hear that its wailing is starting to blurt out like coming into words into this. It's just but jealous, jealous rage, sweet jealous rage, and it stops and starts to intensely lick the ground, just lick the ground in this kind of maniacal state, and it's just repeating jealous rage, as it's licking the ground, and it completely looks like it's not paying any attention to you.
Hmm. Again, because it's so distracted, it would be easy to just plant my blade into it, the blade that I picked up into it. But seeing as North Star is hurt, I need to get her out of here. So I move on.
Mm. As you walk past it, you see that the spot he's licking is one of those spots where the grass is slanted to the ground. Um, and as you walk past it, there is this very eerie sense of dread as you walk past it, because even though the cuckoo bird kind of gave you a description of what a bane is, it's still the pulses you felt from all these living beings, and how North Star told you about the harmony of nature, how even death, new life spurts out of it, and this kind of natural, the circle of life type of thing. And when you walk past, just past this bane, it there is an intense air of dread around it, and it kind of grabs onto you and kind of makes you feel like some thick neck is just choking the life out of you, and you
Mhm.
have to hold your breath as you walk past, and all your limbs are very stiff and that sort of thing, because when you walk past it, you get the clear sense. And there's again, you lack the words to express what you're seeing, but what you're feeling right next to you is an entity purely created out of destruction, death, and pain, and everything around that sort of thing.
Hmm.
It's if you can say it's purely evil, it's purely evil in this case. Uh, and after a while, you feel like this intense weight is taken off your shoulders as you've walked long enough for it to be left into your peripheral vision, and it kind of shrinks in your line of sight as you're walking past it, and you stop hearing the wailing and the dragging and the licking and feeling the uh, emotions of being choked up and that sort of thing. So you start to calm down from it.
I probably breathe heavily to breathe in the normal air that is no longer tainted by this darkness.
Mhm. And again, you feel like the air feels kind of like after taking a very strong breath mint or something, just as like it just you feel the air in your throat and in your lungs, and you feel like when you blow it out, you see the mist come out of your mouth and from your nostrils as you're just. And after a while, you see that the black in your body kind of just starts to peel in these. They kind of loosen into these bits that are shaped like bird feathers, and after you see a couple of them like erect from your body, all of a sudden, almost like a puff in the wind, they just fly off your body like these jet black feathers just flying into the wind, and you're completely like you were before. And um, you see you see North Star kind of raising her head, and you see her creeping her still blood-filled and blood-soaked eyes above you, but she's momentarily conscious, and she's just with her one of her paws, she's just wiggling the air, and she's like, "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?"
I'm here. I'm here.
She tries to uh, touch you with the paw, and you feel like her paw touches the forehead of the buck pelt that's on your that you're wearing, and she's just completely like blind, and she's just touches it, and the paw just swipes from it, and she just loses her consciousness again with her head just like rocking back and forth.
Well, still surprised that she's still alive. I look at the cuckoo bird and I thank him. I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much.
Hmm. You do not need to thank me, friend. You need to thank well, your friend here once she wakes up, because this is all in the name of causality and partnership. I never work for free. You understand?
Not really, but if you say so.
It is so charming seeing the innocent curiosity and the naive intent of someone as young as you. Fills my heart with joy.
Good.
And you
Where are we going?
continue. Hmm?
Where are we going?
It won't be far now. There is a lake in front of us. few leagues from here. The lake is a large one, and in the middle of this lake there is an island, and the island is the center of the werewolf community in these parts. These red talons have been trying to take it over for the past 2 days. That is why there are corpses littered everywhere, and there is an air that invites Banes around, even in a sanctuary like this.
Can they help North Star?
Without a doubt. I'm sure she can help herself as soon as she's had merely the time to heal herself and gain her strength back. You see, for one such as yourself, physical wounds are a little concern. The only reason these wounds are of concern are because they have been made with that tool there. That tool that has been dipped in the boiling blood of Luna herself. And he looks in the sky, at the moon. That silver blade is the thing you need to fear the most, more than Banes, because other werewolves, people you call comrades, people you call allies, family, they do not wield Banes in their hands. They kill them as well, but they might come at you with one of those, and you will end up like North Star here. And there won't perhaps be someone to look after you like you are looking after her then. You must understand that families look after each other, tribes look after each other, but a tribe doesn't span as far as we might sometimes like. And sometimes tribe, family, and superficial aspects like those become the driving force for a guru such as yourself. Your greatest weakness is your pride. And when you are expected to bring glory to your tribe, it sometimes goes to rather extremes. I haven't followed all of the events that have occurred here, but pride stinks in the air. These red talons are soaked in it. It's their poison.
Cuckoo?
Yes.
Who looks after you?
My dear pup, I look after me.
Where's your pack?
I do not need a pack. I am a survivor.
But what if somebody attacks you with one of these, and who will look after you?
I need not worry of such things. You need not worry of such things. Only know this, if you need my services, I am always available, as long as you will be available to me.
To do what? Look after you?
Yes. You could say that, to look after me. Yes. North Star has looked after me. Now I'm looking after her, as I have in the past. And it looks at you with this odd grin on its face, like he's implying something very closely to you, as he kind of did before.
Hmm. You're also looking after me, and I appreciate it.
Much obliged. But once we get to the lake and we get to the sept, I will not follow.
Why not?
I will remain here in the velvet shadow, awaiting you to visit again. This place is as much inane part of you as the physical world you were born in. You are the very few. You are the very few with the gifts to walk between two worlds, to be the emissaries to spirit and the physical. Never take that position lightly, my friend, for you will have to rely on such things in the future.
I'm not sure what you mean, but I'll remember it.
Find yourself a good shaman to teach you. North Star here hardly is a shaman, but I'm sure you'll find your way.
You've helped me, thank you.
The pleasure is all mine. And at this point, you you continue on with him, and because there's still so much to go into, I think this would be kind of a good point to end this session and have a third prelude session still, because
All right.
we've been playing around a little bit over 3 hours again now, so the story doesn't. I mean, it's always great when the story isn't like moving at a high pace because you're doing character interactions and that sort of stuff, and getting the feel of the setting and the characters and that sort of stuff. So it's not a bad thing that we have play.
Good.
But yeah, I'm going to end the broadcast so that the video won't be extremely long. But yeah, thanks for anybody who's been listening thus far, and I appreciate you coming back for more after the first video. And yeah, for life.